Are you having a hard time keeping your weapon on target? Well, there's two things that happen. One is we're gripping the weapon too tight. Second is anticipation of the shot, right? So let's talk a little bit about grip first off. This is my Glock 19. There's nothing in the chamber, no magazine in here, right? So the weapon is cleared. Check that again. A lot of times what I see, especially at the range, is people putting a death grip on their weapon, right? And they're pushing that thing out and they've got such a heavy or hard grip on it or such a tight grip on it that the weapon is shaking, As you don't need to grip your weapon that tight, right? You just need to have good mechanics as far as grip goes. That means you're gripping it really high up here on the beaver tail. You're covering up all of those areas on the side where that recoil or that energy from the weapon has a tendency to escape. The other thing you need to do is just keep this arm straight in line with this slide, right? Or in line with the muzzle of the weapon. When you do that, that recoil is going to travel down your arm and it's going to dissipate out of your shoulder area. So you don't need to put a death grip on it, and just take it and just squeeze real nice and easy on that trigger. Line up your sights. Another thing that I've noticed, especially with anticipation of the shot, is a lot of people tend to drive, and this is where the flinch comes in, right? They're anticipating that explosion that happens inside of the chamber. Anytime you fire a weapon, you're creating a miniature explosion inside that chamber, forcing that round out of the front of your weapon, right? Forcing that round out of the barrel of the gun. Well, a lot of people, when they anticipate that, they tend to push forward and aim down on the target. So they're aiming down on the target. And if you look at your target, and if you've got a lot of shots that are down into the left for a right-hand shooter, down into the right for a left-hand shooter, you're driving that weapon forward in anticipation of that round going off. Now, what I found is a lot of people do that because what they're trying to do is compensate for the recoil. They think that when they push that weapon down and forward and down, that when that recoil happens, as that projectile is leaving the muzzle, it's going to be on target. So they aim a little lower, thinking that when that muzzle flip happens, that projectile or that round is going to come out more even with the target where they actually intend to hit it. Well, the sad thing about that is, guys, the round actually exits the weapon prior to the recoil. So that round, that projectile actually exits the front of this weapon and then recoil happens. So if you're trying to anticipate that recoil or anticipate that shot and compensate for the recoil, you're doing yourself a disservice by aiming down low at that target, because that round exits the gun prior to that gun or that flip happening or that recoil happening. So that's why, and it's funny because anytime I go out to the range with somebody who's a new shooter, brand new shooter, never, my wife, especially my wife, when she first picked up this gun, she was dead on target. Why? Because she wasn't anticipating the shot. She just held those sights right where they needed to be, right where she wanted to put that round, squeezed off the round, then the recoil happened. Now, after that, she started to anticipate that recoil and started to fight that recoil, thinking if she pushed that weapon down in the front, she would stop it from flipping up. And that's just a wrong way to execute any kind of a shot. So, two things that you can do to fix that is, the first thing you can do is obviously dry fire your weapon at the range. You also want to invest in some snap caps, right? Dummy rounds, snap caps. Then when you load your magazines, and do this with more than one magazine. If you load one magazine, you think every third round is going to be a snap cap or a dummy round, your brain is going to pick up on that, and you're going to know when that snap cap happens and when that round is not going to go off. So you're not doing yourself a favor. So load 3 magazines, 4 magazines, however magazines you have, but do them in random order by introducing one of those snap caps or dummy rounds into it, so that when you go down to the range and you load a magazine, switch up your magazines, put them in a bag, shake them around, grab a magazine, put it in there, rack that weapon, right? And when we're racking, we're not helping that weapon for that slide forward. We're not helping that round into the chamber. We're just pulling that thing back and letting it go really, really fast, right? So when we do that, and then we go to take that shot, we're going to go ahead and take that shot, not anticipating when that round is going to go off because we don't know. Now, after a while, what you'll find is you'll start to develop better muscle memory and mechanics because subconsciously your brain is not going to pick up when that round is actually going to be live or when it's going to be a dummy. Now, even if you're still pushing that weapon down, when you go to fire that weapon, right, you're going to know when you pull that trigger if you're aiming low or high. And you can test that by taking a look down your sights and seeing where you're aiming. If you do that enough, you will actually break yourself of taking care of the flinch. The other thing that you can do, and probably the most important thing you can do, is, guys, shoot your weapon often, right? Shoot your weapon often. Take it to the range and put lots of rounds down range. You know, I think one of the biggest disservices people do is they buy guns and they never shoot them. They always think they're gonna be able to execute and pull the trigger when they need to, but guys, there's too many things that can go wrong. You've got to learn how to use this tool, and you've got to go out and use it frequently. So I recommend you go out to the range as much as you can. Put as many rounds down range as you possibly can. It will certainly help you out with that dreaded flinch. All right, that's the tip I got for you today. And as always, if you like the video and you haven't already, smash that subscribe button. If you do like the video, give me a thumbs up and share this video with someone who might need it. Thanks a lot for listening. I appreciate your time. Have a great day.